Welcome to the School of Wordcraft and Worldmancy. This is Feedback Frenzy.
Hello everyone, and welcome to WriterGreg's School of Worldcraft and Worldmancy. It is time to read another Submit Saturday article critique. Thank you so much for being here. If you would like to submit your own article to be submitted and critiqued on a future Submit Saturday, please visit wgc.bz/submit, where you can enjoy having your fiction reviewed with feedback, whether it be a World Anvil article or it is 1,500 words of fiction. We'll be able to help with that. Okay, so this article, we have another one by Dazzlinkat. This is The Gritty Bazaar. This is twisted mythology. Okay. Now I do like, all right, so first of all, I like that we have the thinner header and that we can see the Gritty Bazaar immediately off the top. So good stuff. But that, I don't know how you could crop that image. That's just really, really pretty. Okay. So here we have a short critique. Okay, we have a side column here. It looks like we're starting off. Okay, this has a hook. And it looks like we're using a segment of fiction, flash fiction, to set us off, to be a hook that will introduce the article. So this is a good thing to go with. The Gritty Bazaar. All right. Hey, that's him! A man with a patch over one eye whispered to his three companions. They all watched a whiskered man stagger down the alley, wearing a short toga and sandals that had seen better, cleaner days. You sure, boss? You sure, boss? A burly fellow with still healing scars all along his left arm doubted even as he pulled the club out from under his jacket. Course I'm sure. The one-eyed man strolled up behind the staggering fellow in the toga, who took another swig from his bottle and nearly fell over. So here you are again. The man in the toga choked on his drink, then coughed. Hey, hush away. I'll be taking that. The one-eyed man reached for the bottle, but the drunk in the toga moved out of his reach, then bumped into the scarred man, who dropped his club and grappled him. Lesh me, the other two men swarmed in, swinging clubs. Jupiter grunted and pulled the battered toga, wearing drunk, up out of the dirt in the alley. Again, Bacchus? They believe in me, Bacchus said, all traces of drunkenness gone. And there's only 4 of them now, not just the one. It's your bruise, not you they believe in. Close enough. Bacchus rolled his shoulders and winked at Jupiter. Gone were his raggedy toga and worn sandals. In their place he wore fine clothes fit for the opera. Every hair was in place, and his whiskers were replaced by a properly trimmed beard. It's quite intoxicating. Jupiter just rolled his eyes and stormed off. All right.
Sprinters and marchers, let's go.
Okay. So, interesting things. Okay, we got Jupiter. And is Bacchus the Roman equivalent of Dionysus? I believe Dionysus is the god of wine and grapes. And is Bacchus the Roman equivalent? Because Jupiter, I think, is equivalent to Zeus. Okay. So yes, okay. So here, it's in a bazaar on Mount Olympus. I'm asking this legitimately. I don't know the answer to this. Did the Romans believe that the Roman pantheon lived on Mount Olympus in Greece? That's my question. Not because I'm not sure about that. Because it's kind of interesting using the Mount Olympus, a bazaar on Mount Olympus, when we're talking about Roman names of Greek gods? Dazzlinkat says no. Okay. All right, let's just okay. Well, let me zoom in because I'm old. After the rise of the Catholic Church had dwindled the faith in the Roman gods to near nothing, the grand palace on Mount Olympus began to crumble. There were those who remembered the way to enter Mount Olympus and pass the secret on. The Roman gods, I've twisted mythology. The Roman gods usurped the Greek god mantles of power and took over Olympus. Okay. There were those who remembered the way to enter Mount Olympus and pass the secret on. So people did manage to come by and beseech the gods for blessing or divine favors. It was their belief in the gods, even if not outright devotion, that gave the weakened gods a touch of power. So the gods were willing to grant their demands for a price. Some prices were cheaper than others, and this brought about haggling and trade. From there spawned more trade amongst those willing to haggle or wait out a god to come down to the price they wanted to pay. As people waited, they built crude stone buildings from the rubble, and a semblance of a village appeared. It's not a beautiful place, despite standing where the grand divine palace once existed. Made from rubble and inhabited by the desperate and the daring, trouble can be found as often as something wondrous. Nice. A bazaar on Mount Olympus. Interesting. Okay. The grit. This is twisted. Okay, twisted mythology. Okay. I like it. Okay. Most of the bit. Oh, sorry, I forgot to submit. Let the chat see this. A settlement beside or in a great expanse. Okay. Good picture here. Yeah, that works well. Most of the buildings were shops, with a few cottages here and there. There was even a tavern that served whatever liquors managed to survive the journey through the entrance and across the Uria. Now and again, a divine brew will make it into the tavern. Every god had some small cottage or shop at the gritty bazaar, but they are no more impressive than the rest of the buildings. Doing so requires power, and the gods are not so frivolous with it as they once were. eGriff coming in. It is confirmed results streams will start time will be half an hour delayed. Sorry about that. Okay. Hey, Fantasine, welcome and goodbye. Okay. Now, see, okay, so we have an interesting conundrum that we have here with this article, where the hook is bigger and longer than the article itself. Okay, and so that's going to be that is a challenge here. I in my fictions or in fictions that I enjoy, I really like the concept that gods lose their power as the beliefs of the worship of those gods decrease. I like that concept. I like that trope because it brings the gods down and it brings the mortals up to a closer place where there can be conflict. This bazaar here on Mount Olympus is a wonderful feeding ground for potential conflict that could fuel a lot of different stories. And the question, okay, so what did you want? You wanted an all of the above, didn't you? Yeah, you wanted all of the above. Okay, so the The story is good. I don't need to know if you need to have these asterisks and the line. I don't know if you need both of those, but if you do, okay. But he went from 1 believer to 4. Interesting. Interesting. So is the the fact that they're now now has 4 believers, he can now be that the dapper clean person in opera ready clothes, or is he if he only has 1 person, he's transformed into the wino, but now that he has 4, he can be cleaned up because he has the power to magic those clothes. Okay, Dazzlinkat says yes. Okay, so good. I think I would like to have a little bit more explanation of that concept in the second to last paragraph, because you could expand that a little bit, talking about how he brushes off his clothes and says, "It's amazing what a little power from believers will conjure up," or something like that, so that we get the idea that he was a ragged drunk in a toga because he only had 1 believer, and now he has 4. Um, but, but also interesting is, how did he convert the people into believers? He got them drunk. Is that all he has to do? So I guess it's a good vignette, but it leaves me wanting to know more. And depending on how long you want it to be, really is how much more information that you want to put into it. Okay, so that's an interesting thing. All right, so there's 4 of them, just not one. Okay. So so there's a lot more that could be added into the Bazaar on Mount Olympus, but this is a really short article. Um, how do people get in there? You did explain there were those who remembered the way to enter Mount Olympus and pass the secret on. I have a lot of articles that need writing to explain things. Fair enough. The question about what can I add? I'll ask the questions, and it's up to you to decide if you want to answer them within the article or not. And so, with these short articles, I think that's the role that I can take, is to say what has left me. There's ABC: awesome, bored, confused.
Sprinters break, marchers continue.
I'm using this pen. So if you think about the ABC method of providing a critique, you focus on what is awesome, what left you bored, and let's see, confused. And you talk about confused. So if I focus on what has left me confused, that the fact that Bacchus now can be dressed like that because he has 3 more believers, does that mean it was all a ruse? Could he go back to that intentionally to gain more followers? Is the saying close enough? Is that the people only believe in him long enough as they're drunk? And if that's the case, how come he's not opening a bar and just plastering everybody, and as they come in, they'll just get more drunk, and they'll He could become a marketer, he can become a brewer, and he already is a brewer, but that way everyone who gets drunk off of his alcohol believes in him for the time they're being drunk. I don't know. But I just, to have some people convert from atheism or something else to being a believer in Bacchus because he gave him a drink, it's possible if he used a little bit of magic or his booze was that good. I guess I'd like to know a little bit more, but maybe that might be too much detail, because I could totally see articles about each of the gods and the steps that they take. The steps that they take to get people to believe in them. So people could still profess to be modern day Christians, but if they do a specific task, then the old gods then get a temporary boost of power. Get them drunk, then unable to leave, like the Lotus Casino and Percy Jackson. Excellent idea. That is definitely something that Bacchus could do.
Welcome to the Sprints and Marches.
Hey, Articist. Thank you so much for the follow. Really do appreciate it. Okay, yeah, and so I would like to know more about the bazaar itself and how people get into the bazaar, how people stay in the bazaar, and you can call me Art. Well, okay, Art, I will try to remember that, but thank you so much for following. We're here a lot. Let me just do schedule. If you ever wonder when I'm live, there you go, schedule. Okay, yeah, welcome, Art. So I would like to know more about how they get in. Is it a magical transformation? Is it a special portal? Is it a magic gateway? Is it an enchantment? How do people get into it? How well known is this place? And the bazaar where they set things up here, they built shops out of the haggling. They built shops out of the rubble. Does that mean it's the gods that built the rubble, produced shops to haggle their blessings? Or is it people building tents and shelters like hotels or hostels to have weary travels remain in while they're waiting for the gods to negotiate? Okay, so knowing more about how the bazaar functions, there's always the commercial district and the retail district, and then there can be the residential district on the outskirts. So knowing a little bit more about Mount Bazaar, the gritty bazaar, would be cool. Yeah. All right. So
only 10 minutes left, everyone. Let's squeeze out the words.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for watching this critique of Dazzlinkat's gritty bazaar settlement article for World Anvil. If you, too, would like to have your fiction or World Anvil article critiqued, please submit it at wgc.bz/submit, and it will be included in the next stream. So thank you so much, and have a good day.
Thanks for watching this feedback frenzy. Be sure to show your support by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and clicking the notification bell. WriterGreg offers coaching sessions to help bring your world to life, create compelling stories, and accomplish your creative goals. Please visit wgc.bz/coaching for more details.